All right, my friends, welcome to episode 350, another milestone episode of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony, the dev, and this week we are talking about sexual harassment at Nintendo. Yay. And then
Again,
what to expect
again,
at
right?
Gamescom. Yes, this fucking
And it was and
contractor.
it was testing again, right? Like,
It's testing again. Yep, it's
yep,
Aerotech
always.
company.
Yep.
Just a lot of bad shit happening.
Yeah.
Making sexual comments to women who work there, paying women who've been there a lot longer, a
Less
lot less than the male, I almost said
newbie.
characters.
Newbie.
The newbies, the male newbies who showed up to work. I don't know, it's fucking depressing, and Nintendo needs to get its shit together when they're, contracting this shit out. But what are your thoughts on this crap?
I mean, it is crap. I completely feel like Nintendo makes enough money and has enough people that they can. They don't need to be working on a third party like this. They could easily manage their own testing, their own testers and testing facilities. I don't know why, and especially with a place that clearly has like history with problems like this. It's not just the Nintendo. I mean it's Aerotech and what they rebranded themselves. I saw that in the article that like after settling other disputes, the company Aerotech split into three parts.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it was like you're like, of course you did, because I mean it's all just rebranding to distance
Exactly.
yourself.
Right, because Aerotech means this bad shit, so we're gonna call ourselves Tech
Yeah.
Arrow.
Carter.
Ugh.
What is that? Aston Carter. Now, yeah, Aerotech now reorganized as Aston Carter.
Mm-hmm. And let me guess, Nintendo still contracts with them.
Oh yeah,
We don't use Aerotech. We use Aston Carter.
Aston Carter now.
And Doug Bowser's going to send a strongly worded email. We don't appreciate sexual harassment.
Aerotech has had multiple labor lawsuits filed against it across the years.
They had settled like a $3 million EEO.
Lawsuit. That's when they split.
Boy, oh boy.
It was after that one. Aerotech split into 3 different brands last year, 2 months before it agreed to pay the discrimination settlement. So it was in prep for that. You know, they have history of union busting and all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, like some of the, like there's some parts of this article, obviously the sexual harassment issues, but also issues of her talking about her pay and getting reprimanded for talking about her pay, which is fucking illegal. National Labor Relations Board stepping in. But this is a Kotaku article by Sissy Jang. Starts off with a couple of paragraphs where she's working at Nintendo about a decade, and then there's a Microsoft Teams server called the Laughing Zone. Was supposed to be a lighthearted place for coworkers, but then a male translator was added to the group and started posting Reddit screenshots about why Vaporeon was the best Pokemon to have sex with. The woman was disgusted with the explicit descriptions, and then the conversation turned to Genshin Impact, and the translator posted a GIF of Paimon, a child character in the game, and talked about how it's okay to be sexually attracted to Paimon despite the childlike appearance. She screenshotted it and shared those comments with the staffing company she was contracted with, which is Aerotech. She says, Nintendo was almost like a nightmare. It's sad because I love Nintendo and grew up with Nintendo. I was excited to join, and I thought I was going somewhere. I had my supervisors tell me I was doing a good job, but by reporting the incident, she set off a chain of events that led her to quit her job testing Nintendo's games. It's fucking, like, so much. I mean, obviously, like, your laws are being broken here. Like, bad shit is happening. A strong labor force, a union here could help keep people when they report other people doing bad shit, because the people reporting the bad shit shouldn't be the ones who have to leave.
You're not wrong.
God.
But I can definitely see this contract place, the Aerotech just being like, don't. I mean, that's kind of the weird incentive there for in a situation like this. Aerotech wants to push down any of this stuff happening because they don't want to look bad to Nintendo.
Yes.
Like, they are not a Nintendo employee, they are a Nintendo contractor, so they want to keep their contract. And so to do that is to make sure that Nintendo hears nothing of this stuff. So part of me wonders how much of this goes to Aerotech, and Aerotech just drops it and doesn't report it back anywhere, which I feel bad and not bad for Nintendo, because I'm like, well, Nintendo, you need to be, and the management there needs to be more on top of these people, for one, and just being like, okay, show us what's going on and just track it better. It shouldn't be up to Aerotech to report what's going on.
Right.
And clearly they heard about this at some point. I'm just like, how long from whenever this was posted? Like, how did it bubble up into Nintendo itself? And not through like telephone through Aerotech to Nintendo. Like,
right, like Nintendo's like sees this Kotaku article, they're like, this is the first we've heard of this.
I don't think it is, but it could be. Like, there is a scenario where that's possible, where they're like, what the fuck? Right. What haven't you been telling us? Although I would hope that any of these people that have had harassment and stuff would have talked to someone at Nintendo potentially who was an actual Nintendo employee. But that's one thing this article doesn't do. It doesn't really go into the structure on how this is managed. Like, is there Nintendo employees monitoring the testers? Is it... I think this was the previous thing, was talking about how the Aerotech and the testers were like in a different building.
Yes, exactly.
They're completely separate. Like, they're not
like the red cards or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Microsoft with contractors versus full-time employees, and a lot of other companies do that. Like, your testers, your contract, you're not a full-time employee, so we can't treat you like a full-time employee legally, and blah blah blah. Stupid U.S. labor laws more than anything. So there's definitely a part here where I'm like, this is where I would go back to saying, Nintendo is big enough and has enough money, they don't need to be doing it this way. Like, they could manage this themselves. There's no reason they can't have an in-house testing team that is not run by a contract company.
Yeah, and the article makes the point about how much money they're making. Like, absolutely, they can bring this in, and while it may cost them more in money, it'll cost them less in PR nightmares.
Yeah.
And there's a part of an article here that says neither Nintendo of America nor Aston Carter responded to the articles about the April NLRB filing or how contract employees are treated in the workplace. Just like, be quiet and it'll go away.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, and contract testers unfortunately are treated like crap. I can't even believe this woman worked there for 9 years at this. That's insane to still be considered contract and not Nintendo employee.
Right.
People just get chewed up and spit out in the contract testing industry for games. No, you don't need a college education. You can go right out of high school and probably get a contract testing job. And as long as you continue to show up and do what you're supposed to do, test the games, follow your report your bugs, your regressions on bugs, and reproduce repro steps for the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
You probably are above, at least better than probably 50% of the people showing up for that. Because this history has been, what I've known, and the horror stories I've heard is a lot of people would show up for a day or two and then just never show up again. Because it's not for them. They hate it because, goddamn, the contract testing is like a hellhole. And
yeah,
really,
it sounds like a dream, right? Where you're like, oh, I love video games. Like, oh, this is making me hate video games.
I mean, it kind of is, because it's not just because it gets pitched a lot of times of, oh, I like playing video games. Well, Cora, I just get to play video games. It's like you don't actually get to play video games for fun while you're doing it.
No, exactly.
You're given a list of things to do or bugs to check, and you need to do that over and over and over and over and over and over again. This is playing games meticulously and very focused on specific parts. It's most of the contract testers, you're not doing freeform testing even. You're not just sitting down with the game and saying, try to break it. No.
Right.
No. You are given instructions on exactly what you have to do. And try to get through as much of those a day as possible.
It's just mind-numbing.
Yeah, 8 hours and out. And so, like I said, most people don't even last a week. because a lot of people expect it. They're just like, oh, I'm going to play games, and then it's like,
Yep.
oh
And
hell
then
no,
it's not that thing. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
not that thing at all. And it's not generally has never been known for like great conditions. Like
Yeah.
it's not like sweatshop conditions or anything like that. But it's like, yeah, you're in close proximity, tight quarters to lots of people, a lot of hot computers or systems running.
Yep.
You get your whatever lunch you're mandatory required, what, half an hour I think, and
Yeah,
then a
30 minutes.
couple 10-minute breaks at tops. Yep. And there you go. That's what you get. And you're expected to be at the doing your job all the other points. So go, and who knows if there's also potential crunching and overtime if you have to just get stuff done.
Right. Animal Crossing DLC is coming out next month. We got to crush these final bugs.
Yeah, it's rough. But the problem is those people leave and they don't show back up, and there are still hundreds more coming in, constantly, because it's an easy way to get into the game industry, and it's seen as a very easy way to get your foot in the door, even though most people will go nowhere from it because they will burn out before they get to what they want to do.
Or, the middle of this article is talking about a tester who was trying to advance because she wanted stable income and benefits and could not. And then Kotaku reaches out to Nintendo and asks what kind of actions it took to ensure that women had a fair chance at career advancement. Spokesperson for Nintendo acknowledged our comment request but did not return with a statement.
Yep.
It's just like, we're going to continue to not talk about this because that means it's not real and will go away. Makes me fucking hate Nintendo, this article. It really does. And that I don't like that. But I'm not going to like ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show that Nintendo's not a safe place from this honestly pretty common tech industry problem.
Yeah,
like,
right.
They're still tech, might be seen as family friendly and stuff, but it's still tech industry. And tech industry has its foundations in some pretty shitty cultures overall. And there hasn't been a lot of incentive for it to change over the years. Slowly starting to now, but did they say, I'm trying to, in the middle of the article when they talked that, did they say what the person was trying to advance to?
A full-time position from a contract position.
From a contract.
Yeah, and I'm reading this
former
right
tester. Okay, yep.
It's talking about how she was trying to figure out like what can I do, what benchmarks do I hit to advance, and they're like, well, it's not metrics, it's get more FaceTime with this guy, gonna invite you to lunch, so and so, say these kind of things. But usually the guys are the ones who got promoted. They're usually all friends. They watch the Super Bowl together.
Yeah. Yep.
Boy.
And it's true. I mean, that's the thing. Even you always get this stuff where people espouse like, oh, it'll be a meritocracy. It's never a meritocracy.
No, definitely not.
It's all about networking and that FaceTime. Like, you want to get a position somewhere, find out who's ass to kiss. And in a women's case, maybe more, which is terrible. Ugh.
Well, and there's a guy called out later, manager for specific, actions that are just gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is, you should all read this article. I think we're going to be just more disgusted the more we talk about this. So go read it.
Yeah.
Nintendo needs to fix their shit. Yeah. Bring everything in house and get rid of the contractors.
Yeah. And so just have more, you have more control that way. And if that, and then you can start, I feel, eliminating problems when they arise, ideally, not just hide it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like all these reports or all these requests for comment, and they're like, there's no comment. They say nothing.
Well, yeah, like, that doesn't surprise me. They're never going to say anything publicly.
I feel like even when this like shit happens at Blizzard or fucking Riot or whatever, there's like at least like some public statement that you just look at and just like roll your eyes at, but at least saying something that they know they're supposed to say. But yeah,
nope,
saying nothing is worse, I think. But
I wonder if that's living in the shadow of Nintendo of Japan.
100%, it's got to
and being like, oh shit, we don't want to piss off Daddy Nintendo. So we say nothing, because if we keep our mouth shut, then we don't say something wrong.
Well, Bowser puts out an internal letter, Doug Bowser, not Koopa King Bowser, that says, we have a zero tolerance policy for sexual harassment and anything inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. Like, even that 2 or 3 word sentence, just say that publicly. But he didn't, because he can't. He can't. Nintendo Japan won't let that happen. That's fucking gross, man. This week, Gamescom is happening in Germany. Nice pivot transition here. When this publishes on Monday, it'll be tomorrow, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, when opening night live occurs, because it'll be night in Germany.
Sure.
And Keeley started to put out a list of games that they're going to talk about. One of them, I actually forgotten. I guess it had been announced before, but I had forgotten. But The Expanse, a Telltale series.
Yeah, I
That
forgot
sounds pretty
too.
dope.
I'm down for it.
I would like to see that.
I'm very curious whenever stuff gets shown on that. Because I assume it's not Expanse TV show. I could be
I
wrong,
think it's
though.
book.
I think it's like just straight, or it could be a separate story. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're not retelling the
true.
actual like ground covered.
Yeah. I'm going to read this to you. You tell me. You've read more books than I have, but I think this is a different story. I think you're right. In the near future, on the outskirts of the asteroid belt, a bloody mutiny breaks out on the Artemis. You take the role of Exo Kamina Drummer, where your choices determine the fate of the ship.
Drummer is a character. Oh my god, I'm going to remember this. If Drummer is a character in the books, or she was created for the show.
I'm on book 3, and I don't recognize that name, but that's book 3. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to. God, it's been so long. She was in the books. The thing is like the show kind of combined a couple characters into her character. She's great in the show. Like, I absolutely love Drummer in the show. So, TV character has a lot more going on. Tycho Stan, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm trying to look at the like Telltale logo that they're using for the game. I'm like, is that?
This was announced at Game Awards. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it being originally being announced. All right, Telltale 9-deck, Alcon.
Yeah, it's the ones who worked on one of the Life is Strange. I think it's Life is Strange sequel. Telltale series takes on the role of Kamina Drummer, played by actress Kara G in both the game and the TV series.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at the logos on the trailer. Mm-hmm. It's Telltale, 9-deck, and Alcon. Alcon are the people who made the TV show. They financed it.
Oh, so this is TV show then.
TV show based, which it stayed pretty close to the books for the most part. Mm-hmm. And there was some changes here and there, but and the TV show ended before book. They didn't really do books 7, 8, and 9.
They finished
into 6, which is actually a fine ending place. Like 7, 8, and 9 are, I think, are still good. It's just I'm like, there's no way the TV show can do them justice for the most part. Like, there's a time jump, a big time jump, and so it'd be pretty hard to continue the same story at that point. So the TV show wrapped up its final season by like taking some elements of 7, 8, and 9 and like wrapping that into the story it was telling to the end of 6. So you kind of just got a complete story for the TV show, at least. So
that's cool.
And so this is cool. So it's going to be backstory for Drummer, which is cool. She's really cool from the TV show, and they got the same actress. That's great.
Well, that's
I'll play it.
Then.
I'll play it.
It's a new engine, whatever, but it looks pretty good. I just went back and looked at the trailer right now. The engine looks pretty good, so that's exciting. So that's there. The Outlast Trials, I don't know what the hell it is. I'm going to read the list and we can go back and talk about it. The Outlast Trials, Gotham Knights, High on Life, Honkai Star Rail, Hogwarts Legacy, Callisto Protocol, The Expanse, Dying Light 2 DLC, Sonic Frontiers, Return to Monkey Island, and Goat Simulator 3. And then a new game from Subnautica developers.
Okay.
Any of those stand out to you?
Hopefully Gotham Knight looks better than it did before.
Yes, hope so.
It did not sell me on that game at all, seeing the last trailer. It did not. Yep. It did not show well. So hopefully they've cleaned it up. On there, Honkai Star Rail, that's Genshin Impact devs' next game. One of their next games. I think they have another one announced as well. And because Genshin Impact was so popular now worldwide, this game has picked up buzz worldwide as well. But it's like sci-fi-ish, party-based, turn-based party combat. Still free to play, gotcha, collectathon craziness. But Genshin had a lot of. I mean, I played a lot of hours of Genshin, and gave them very little money for the amount of time that I actually played. But it was a very polished game. So MiHoYo seems to at least have polished games out there. So I'll probably try it out. Hogwarts Legacy, wasn't that delayed?
It was. I think it comes out next.
Does it actually come out?
Spring? I don't think it's this year. I think it's coming out in spring of 23. Yeah, February 10th, 23.
Yeah, it got delayed into 2023.
Yeah. We've talked about the conflict that I have with Harry Potter stuff, but in the past, I'm not going to go into it. But I don't know. People have been asking for this kind of game forever. So
I know that's the thing. My daughter absolutely loves the Harry Potter universe and books.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're good books, man. They're really good.
I know. And we've talked
book 5. Fuck book 5.
You don't want the angst. I find certain comfort in being like, yes, that teenage angst, like just ripping out of that book.
It's so well done because it's so awful.
Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, teenagers suck.
Yes, big time.
And I say that as me who was a teenager, and I look back and go, oh fuck.
It looks good, man. Like this fucking game looks good, and Harry Potter is fucking, like a great story.
But I know.
I'm not
Rowling
game, but
sucks. We've had to have that conversation with my daughter and kids as well, being like, yeah, the author sucks. Like, but it's a lesson in learning how to enjoy the content and not really condone the author's view, and then also understanding like, okay, if you know who the author was, you can kind of see where things are or not done in the books, which is clear. I mean, Harry Potter, there's, as far as I remember in the books, up until in the main line, I don't think there's any LGBTQ characters in it.
No. Well, she tried to afterwards, like retcon it.
Sure, and
Dumbledore's gay. Like what?
That's in the newer books, in the movies, actually.
What are they fucking called? Fantastical Beasts.
The Beasts, yeah, they actually have, like, I thought at some point there was something that because they have young Dumbledore and like have who he's dating and things like that. So, but that, I mean, yeah, it's kind of should never. I'm like, whatever, you say that, but it's not in the books. If you just take the books, it's like, yeah, clearly you didn't put any of that in there. Like,
right.
So that was just kind of a lesson to help teach our kids, being like, yeah, you have to look at if you know the author's perspective, you can use that to inform what's in the books and why certain things aren't. Orson Scott Card being one when I read Ender's Game. Like, Ender's Game is a great book. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
Written by a complete and total asshat.
And I feel like, for both of these, for Rowling and Card, like the books that you enjoy from them, like they aren't like dripping with their assholeness, No, it's not really like they're not using it. It's not like Terry Goodkind, for example.
No, I don't feel like they're putting a lot of any of their beliefs directly in it. But it's kind of where you read it and you go, well, what didn't they put in? Because clearly they didn't. Right. They left things out that either out of think like directly intentionally leaving them out, or just unintentionally leaving them out because it just not on their radar because it's not part of their like what they're thinking about or what they where their mind's at, which is, again, it's a great way to help. Weirdly, has been great helping my kids, like showing them like, hey, reading with intention, consuming media in a way a little bit deeper than just surface, like thinking about what the author's trying to say or not say.
Right.
So, and they're old enough where they can start getting some of that. So, but the Hogwarts Legacy, I haven't shown my daughter any trailers for this, but I think she would lose her mind about this. And I don't know if she'd play the game or if she would just sit making her wizard for like days.
Character creation for weeks.
Days.
Oh, man.
I mean, that might be all she wants to do is just create wizards.
Right.
And witches and just go, okay.
Well, and I do like that the developers, Avalanche, I think, like they have like non-binary and whatever part of the character creator because they also probably think fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, there has to be something. I mean, J.K. Rowling's not involved in the game.
no, she's not.
She's not, but she's not one to give like free reign. Like, she pretty much gets sign off on everything in that universe. And so she's at least okay with them doing it, signing off on them, like doing that. Because it was something to do. It's like why there's no Harry Potter in Disney. Because they originally, Disney had approached for like a Harry Potter land years and years and years ago.
I thought Warner Brothers owned this IP.
This game now, like that's how the whole like, well, they do, but there's like the theme park stuff. So Universal has the Harry Potter theme park stuff. Like, there's a whole in Universal Hollywood and in Orlando, there's immersive Harry Potter experience, like Diagon Alley, the whole thing, just walking through and rides and all. Disney originally wanted it, but the negotiations failed because Rowling basically she wanted to sign off on everything. Like, Disney couldn't do it themselves. Universal gave that to her.
Yeah.
So there's part of me that I'm like, well, Warner Brothers is here. I'm like, she may not be involved in the game, but there's definitely approvals coming through here of being like, so I'm like, okay, if they're doing that, at least she's not blocking that stuff of being able to do LGBTQ characters in the game. I'm like, okay, like, because I'm sure you could have said no, but geez, I'm glad that hopefully Avalanche went to bat for it too, and was like, no, this is happening, or we're not doing the game, or Warner Brothers went to bat for it. So yeah. Oh wait, this game is currently being owned by Avalanche Software, which was acquired by Warner Brothers Interactive from Disney. Weird. Okay, sure. Crazy, but I don't know. It's a convoluted thing. I'll show my daughter at some point. She'll just create characters, which is the truth norm for most games that give you full character creators. What do you people do? They spend days making characters. But
I mean, just the creativity, like, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I always just keep coming back to the book series because my daughter just loves those kind of stories. We've Mistwick School of Music Craft. It's a 3-part series right now that really, really scratches the itch, but it has female protagonists, which is awesome, and it's really well written, so well written.
Yeah.
So that's she's in love with that. So there are lots of things to read besides Harry Potter, I guess.
Exactly.
But Harry Potter is not a bad thing to read.
No, there's some good
dive on Rowling.
Yeah, that's fine. My daughter's not going to. And I mean, as my daughter has attached herself to, she really likes Hermione. So, and Hermione's great.
Me too.
Is a pretty great character through that entire thing. Like, may not be the main character, but is a very well written.
I wish she was, man. I would be way more, despite the complexity of Rowling, I would be way more interested in showing that to my daughter if Hermione was the main character. I'd love to see like a spin-off where she's like
the main character.
Alternate. Yeah. I guess that's what I'm reading with Mistwick. It's
there you go.
Different. It's someone else was like, I want that. I want to write it myself.
Kind of.
So that Mistwick School of Music Craft. You should go find.
Okay. That sounds good.
Your daughter would love it. I really do think.
Probably.
I will
check that out. She needs new books. Other stuff on here. Callisto Protocol. I'll never play. Exactly. Not gonna play it.
Never gonna play it. But it looks, it's the Dead. Not fucking Dead Island. Dead Space.
It is.
This Dead Space new, so people are gonna love it. I don't know. I just, of all these ones on this list, Harry Potter is interesting, but Gotham Knights is the one that I'm like circling with like.
Please look decent.
Unease, but interest. Because if it's good, like, I don't know, I love the Arkham games, and to be able to play as these characters that are not Batman sounds pretty dope, to be honest.
I mean, the whole storyline, like the setup for Gotham Knights, seems really cool, and I was on board with it until I saw the game, and then I was like, oh no.
You're like,
oh no, what have you done?
No, come on. Just give me a Batgirl game. Come on, don't be bad. Ugh.
Well, you can't even get a Batgirl movie, so.
Oh my God! Like, can you imagine sinking that much money and being like, "We're not going to show this to anyone
We're done.
ever"?
We're done with the movie. Like, we're in the
What?
final stages of post-production, and we're out.
What? Why? What? What? Like, put it on streaming at least. What the fuck?
So then
Um,
they're just like, no, which I'm like, I mean, there's been a lot of rumors on that. Is it like doing it for a tax write-off kind of purposes? But then I've also
oh,
read that like test screenings and like no one's been happy with it.
we're
Like,
awful. I heard they were
like
awful.
that it's just very bad. And I'm like, why did you wait so long to realize it was very bad? um,
But you know what? Like, there's value in movies that are so bad. Like,
yeah,
I, yeah, I think people would want to watch it. They
yeah.
hate it, but I don't know if that like it might just destroy the brand by
I mean,
doing that.
for fuck's sake, they gave us the Snyder cut of
Yes,
Justice League,
you're right.
like, and
Seriously,
that was
it's worse
not
than
an
that, really?
improvement.
Oh my God, it can't be worse than that, right?
I don't know, like, and if it is, I'm like kind of out of curiosity, I want to see it. I want to see
That's how I feel
how
too.
bad I'm. Like, it's the train wreck you don't want to look away from. Like, you want to,
Put it on
yeah,
its
and it has
face.
Kevin Costner's Batman in it. Like, I want to see it. I want to see the return of
I
Kevin Costner.
wasn't I thought it was Michael Keaton.
Oh, sorry, not Michael Keaton. Sorry, I'm getting my
Okay, I was like,
80s. I'm getting my 80s actors mixed up there. It's Keaton.
when did Kevin Costner play
No,
Batman?
no. Keaton.
Yeah.
I thought he was coming back for something else too, but I was like, I think it was only this.
No, and I thought also
The Flash movie?
Brendan Fraser or something was in it. Oh, you know what? I think you're right. It was also the Flash movie, which I think they're also shelving.
Yeah, because their star is a shithead.
No, is that the Ezra Miller thing?
Yeah.
Oh my
Ezra Miller
God.
was the Flash.
Ugh.
I'm pretty
That guy's
sure
a
that, like,
fucking psycho, man. Jesus
I mean, it's
Christ.
basically, I'm just like, Jesus, the DC movie universe is just collapsing. Did not have good foundations. That's all I'll say.
No. No.
I don't know.
Just no.
Yeah. But
You know, and like, God, I just don't fucking get it. And you know, whatever. But there's so much good DC like IP.
yeah.
What the fuck is happening? God,
Well, you
like
gave it to
content,
Zack Snyder. That was what you did wrong.
I guess, but like content is everywhere, and like there's so much good shit like this. Like the fucking Adams Family is back, and it looks awesome. How can you fuck up Batman and Batman related shit
That's
so
true, and
badly? You
they
know?
did so well. I mean, you still look back on Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is still held up very high, even if the third movie kind of faltered. It still was so much better than anything they've done with Batman since. um,
I like I like Joker though. I like the
hmm.
Joaquin Phoenix one.
But is that really
Um,
Batman? I mean, that's just
no, but it is DC. Like it is the
yeah.
DC IP. So I feel like there's, God, I
They,
don't know. Like I've been
they
reading some
didn't.
Batman graphic novels. I'm like, God, this shit is good.
Yeah, and then
Um,
they screwed around. Like, I mean, they give Snyder Superman, which is not the person you want to give Superman to. Like,
Also, is Superman that good? Like, I mean, I
it
don't know.
could
Like, I
be.
feel
They
like
could make it interesting, except I don't know.
he's
So
like
here's the thing.
invincible. It's so hard.
Yeah. See, here's the thing with Superman. I'll go back to is the fact that what Snyder decided to do with Superman in Man of Steel was to make him like angsty and reluctant to help people. It's like that
Ugh,
doesn't really fit the character. I mean, I get it.
that's
You're
not
trying
Superman,
to
man.
like throw like a wrench in there because like uh um Father Kent died in a tornado, told him not to, like, you don't save me to hide yourself, sort of thing. And I'm like, well, is it really that interesting though to make the superpowered alien superhero like not want to help people and want to hide? Like, it feels like, yes, we want to make Superman interesting, but we can't actually do Superman interesting. We got to change it dressed like the core identity of this character. And I'm like, that's the part that rubbed me the wrong way, of being like, I don't want the core identity of that character changed. I just honestly kind of turn into the identity of the character a bit more. Like, be the bright spot. Be optimistic. It's okay. Like,
I think the best Superman that I've seen, and I don't like Superman very much, but the best one I've seen is Injustice, where he's just a dick. Like, he's
that's
a
true too.
fucking asshole. It's like alternate Superman from whatever other universe
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't even do that. They didn't make Superman a dick. They're just like, he was just an angsty 20-something, early 30-something. Just, whoa, why me? I'm so persecuted. I don't know what to do. Why would I can't help people. I'm angry.
Did you ever watch Smallville?
I've seen some Smallville. It was campy as hell, but
Yeah, I feel like a successful Superman could be like early on when he's not in his full power and just kind of, I don't know.
bumbling a bit.
Yeah, but
Although I'll give Man of Steel credit, they got Cavill as Superman. Cavill was great as that.
You know
perfect
what?
Casting.
Well, you know what? I was gonna say maybe if the only good thing that's come of those movies is that we got Cavill as Geralt.
Yeah,
that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
It's true.
He's great as Geralt. Oh man.
So yeah, I don't know what Warner Brothers movies is doing with DC like movies right now. Like, it seems like a complete and total dumpster fire that they're trying to figure out.
Well, they're losing the rights, or lost the rights, to Lord of the Rings.
They did. Yep. Because that. Well, I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean,
Embracer is just gonna license it out to Warner Brothers or whatever.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm like, did they? Embracer's buying all the IP and all the rights, the IP ownership. So I'm wondering if the contracts come with that in some ways, so that the current Warner Brother contracts are still fine under it until they have to be renewed, basically.
For multiverses, some Lord of the Ring character or whatever was supposed to be in it. And now people are like, is that not going to happen now because Embracer bought it? And it's like, Embracer just wants to make money, so I don't think they're going to be like, you can't use this. Yeah. We don't want your money. So,
jeez. So yeah, I don't know is there anything else really noticeable from Gamescom?
Not yet. No, I mean, I'm sure. Historically hasn't been. There's been some interesting stuff, but nothing like earth shattering, I think. So.
Yeah, no. It usually hasn't been. I'm like, part of me is like hoping that like Larian is going to have something with Baldur's Gate 3, because those are always entertaining. But they kind of do their own stuff now.
Right. Everyone can do their own
they're just like, we're just doing our own video when we want to.
Well, and I think they had just put out a new update for Baldur's Gate 3
Yeah,
recently.
the Bard.
And the Bard, that's it. The fucking trailer was awesome.
It was. Like, their whole little, like, half an hour, like, presentation was hilarious.
Yeah.
In, like, the stupidest way. Like, they are full on, like, yeah, we know we're not going to do this great, but we're going to be silly as hell while we do it and laugh and basically in on the joke of how stupid this all is. And it's so good.
Did you get early access on that?
Nope,
or you
I'm not. I'm not going to touch it until the game's out. Like, I already know it's exactly the game I want, so I want all of it to exist when I play it.
Yep.
So I'm just waiting.
You and my friend Daniel are the same way. He's like, nope, not touching it until it's ready, because I can't wait. I mean, I can wait, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. If I was questioning quality, or if I was like, oh, are they gonna do it okay? I would probably potentially do early access just to like dabble my toes in it.
Yep.
But I'm already sold, so why ruin it? Why play through the same stuff over again? I just want it all up front. Which is it's gonna be great. I mean, and that was also the news. Switched to D&D. There was a bunch of D&D news this week. There was a big announcement. There's it's called the Initiative 1 D&D, which is the code name for the next edition, where they're dropping editions.
Oh, so it's not 6. It's
Dungeons. It's just going to be Dungeons and Dragons, and they're just from here on out, every once in a while, just going to I mean, at this point, it's been 10 years since the 5th edition Player's Handbook. By the time the next edition comes out.
10 years? Are you fucking serious?
It's 8 right now. 10 when the revision comes out. 10 years of an edition. But they're just like, we like the general structure of the game. We don't want to drastically change it. We want it, and they're like, we want everything to be fully backwards compatible. So we're just dropping editions. Like, it's marketing to a point, but they're just like, there'll be a new player's handbook, but it's going to be just revisions more than anything, like tweaks to rules. And they put out their first playtest thing, which changes how you kind of create characters a little bit. Not in a bad way. I think it's actually a great way. You choose a race. Races don't have stat improvements anymore. Those don't come from your race. Races just get special abilities, and all races have some form of active special ability they can use now. And then you
in
choose,
general, that's probably a good idea.
and then you choose a background.
Uh-huh.
And a background in like the old player's handbook, you choose a background from like a list, and there's like this alternative, like here's how you could create your own. They're flipping it. They want you to create your own backgrounds where you pick. That's where you get your stat improvements. You can put a +2 in a stat and +1 in a stat, or +1 in 3 stats. You pick some two skill proficiencies, a tool proficiency, a language, and you get a feat of your choice. But you build it. You can just, as they're putting it, think of your character that you're playing. Make these choices based on the background that they have. Like, where'd they come from before choosing their class? Like, what did they do? And not be so prescriptive on, well, I chose the criminal background because that fits gives me the stat improvements that I want, or the skill. Right. Like, it's just like, write a little backstory. Think in your head what the backstory of your character is. There you go.
Do you think that the popularity of D&D in the past 10 years, maybe not only because of Critical Role, but other, the Let's Plays or whatever else, has contributed to this?
Yes.
Okay, because it fucking feels like it.
Yep.
It's interesting that you bring this up, because just last week, I'm in the third or fourth session of this one shot I'm doing with Daniel and a couple of people he knows, and it is fucking awesome. It is nice. So fun. I'm like, this is the first time that I played, more than once, like, a campaign, quote unquote. Yeah. This is a small one, and I was just like, man, I really want to get more into this. I'm like, no, I don't want to buy the book because it's probably, it's been a while. 5's been out for a while. It's probably going to change soon. So that's good news. Okay, yeah. Maybe I will.
The book is still fine to have, and then in a couple of years you'll just buy the revised version that has a little bit of changes. But yeah,
I'm just using D&D Beyond, man. It's
and so that's the other thing. D&D Beyond is owned by Wizards of the Coast now, and they are going to start integrating them more and more with it. There's a Dragonlance source book coming out in December.
What?
Yeah. First full-on 5th edition Dragonlance. But you can buy it from Wizards directly as a bundle with the physical book and D&D Beyond content.
Oh, shit, dude. Dragonlance? Oh, that's
Dragonlance.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, Return to Dragonlance is happening. There's actually a new Dragonlance book coming out, too.
There is, and it was a book that, like, a couple years ago got spiked by a different publisher, and they got the rights back or whatever, and they're going to publish it. Hickman and Weiss.
Yep, and so there's a full-on 5th edition campaign book. It's not a campaign book. It's a setting book. It doesn't have. It's not adventures. It's actual just
going back
setting.
To Kryn.
Yeah, it's like the Dragons of Kryn, I believe, is the. They announced it this week, so people knew it was coming, but they finally gave us a lot of info on it. I'm pretty jazzed about it too. I'm like, okay. Shadow of the Dragon. Are you gonna do a
campaign in it?
I don't know. Maybe not. I have no clue. I get lots of books. I don't necessarily do the campaign in it, but they're neat to have. But I believe it's actually moving forward in the timeline. I'm pretty sure. I bet it's set around where these new books are set. Because it is Shadow of the Dragon Queen is the title.
Dragon. Ugh.
So
man. Dragonlance, it's like Dragonlance and Wizard's First Rule Terry Goodkind series are the two really huge introduction to fantasy that I had, besides Lord of the Rings early on in life. And that was the portal, those two things. And of those two, the ones that I would go back to, even though it's not the best writing ever, is probably Dragonlance.
Yeah. But it's pulpy. That's the thing about it. It's pulpy. There's a lot. Exactly. There's a lot I'll forgive. I'll read old D&D novels and different settings, and I'm like, is it great? No, but it knows what it wants to be, which is just kind of a pulpy adventure. There's not a lot of
Dragon Queen. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah, there's
I'm
not a lot
interrupting
of
you.
there's not a lot of depth to them, and that's just fine. Like they're not
Yeah.
trying to be deep novels. They're trying to have fun.
Yeah, they're just fun, and some of the stuff was I don't know, the Raceland stuff specifically, but that was really
Yeah.
good. This fucking Shadow of the Dragon Queen Deluxe Edition bundle, physical and digital editions together. Ooh.
And a board game, the deluxe edition. There's the like $155 deluxe edition because it comes also
That's
with
what I'm looking at right now.
with the
Yeah.
board because they're doing a board game as well.
Shadow of the Queen, a cooperative mass battle game pitting. Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh fuck, man.
Well, there you go.
Maybe I'll put this on my Christmas list.
Oh wait, Shadow. It is an adventure.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
It's a 1 to 11, but it comes with content for. It includes content for, of course, setting information, character creation, and like creating villains. But then it's a 1 to 11th level campaign. It's a long campaign.
Oh my god. I need to talk to Daniel. I want to do this. I don't know, man. Like just like fucking doing the D&D recently with Daniel, and then setting up. I did that. I talked about it last week the adventure skeletons thing with my daughter, and then set up a little like a half-assed D&D adventure for her with D&D maps, and then Amiibo as the
yeah, you sent
characters.
the picture. That was hilarious.
Yeah, dude, she fucking died. She loved it so much. She made her own adventure first, and I did one for her, and she's like, I like yours better, Daddy. Can we do yours again? We did it again. We were rolling dice and telling stories for like 3 hours, and she was riveted. I was like, all right, this is good. And then my wife came in to play with us a little bit, and she's like, I can't do this. I don't know what's happening. We were just rolling dice and telling stories. Like, I can't do it. I'm not creative. I don't know what's happening. Oh man. So well, we have devolved into a D&D podcast. Which is fine. Yeah. What have you been playing? Well, let me hit that briefly before we wrap up.
Xenoblade, continuing that. I'm at 70 hours in.
Nice.
It hit. It got tears from me at one time, so it happened. I'm still, I don't think, close to the end. I think I'm only like 40 hours from the end, maybe longer. Goddamn game is huge. But
yeah, I've heard that long.
It's I got to like one of the big plot twists, and I was like, yeah, that got me. That was big. This is interesting, and
nice.
It was a cool twist, and I'm curious where the story goes towards the end. But yeah, it's a cool game. It is by far the best in that series that I've played.
Like hitting their stride a little bit.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of mechanics, but they're presented pretty well and paced out as you get them. So I feel like I have good grasp on all the systems. The combat's fun and snappy. There's a lot of just open world bosses. Fighting bosses was a ton of fun. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it a lot. So I'll continue playing that. I was playing it earlier in the week, and I played it when I was waiting for the ferry a couple times because I had to go do errands. But a lot of my game time has been like little fits and bursts of playtime because I've just had so much stuff to do with house. Prepping house stuff. So what else did I play? Vampire Survivors had another update. Big update.
I feel like every 2 weeks.
They do. They had a trailer for this update.
Huh.
It introduced a new character, and it was like a full-on like CG of this new character and the whole thing. I'm like, they're using their money for some marketing material. I think it's getting close to being done, though. They showed the roadmap, and they're pretty close. They're over in a couple categories. Like, they have more weapons than they were expecting, and more characters than they were expecting. So, the game's close to being done. I have 3 achievements left to get currently. So, I did like 2 runs of that. And then, as of Friday, Path of Exile had a new league, so I jumped in there to just screw around. I wouldn't say that invested in it, but when you're really, really busy with other things, an action RPG feels good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's the perfect... I'm just going to sit down and click and watch. Yeah, it totally is, and I needed it so much. So I think that's really all I've been playing, with Xenoblade being the one that's taken the most of the time. And I'll probably play more of that this week.
We've hit so much of the Prof and Dev Play Games podcast bingo card this episode. We've got unionizing in games. We've got Path of Exile again.
Yep.
Fucking Vampire Survivors. Fucking dumbass shit at Nintendo. Haven't said fuck Bobby Kotick, but there we go.
There we go.
Just
Boom.
Hit that on.
That should just be the free spot in the middle of the bingo card.
Yes, it should be. This week it's been not much. It's like the week before school starts, and it's been just so much stuff. So haven't played much, but definitely Wind Waker in the morning with my daughters. Holy shit, my daughter.
Yeah, okay.
One kid. And today we played in the afternoon because we didn't play this morning. And we just finished the Earth Temple. We're just like blazing through this game. But she, for the first time, played the Wind Waker. She like pulled it out, held left or right, or left it alone for 3, 4, 6 spots, and then used the right stick to play the song. And then she got them right and was able to command Medley and loved flying her around. And she particularly likes to pick up Medley in the Earth Temple and throw her into walls.
Of course.
She's just like, just stunned. But yeah, she's getting a lot better at using the controller. Just seeing like my little daughter with this huge ass fucking Wii U controller, the fucking screen, is hilarious. Boy, that game is just magical, man.
They better release that on Switch. It's time. Let's do this.
Yeah, man. I fucking better, dude. I want that to like that. We're gonna be playing that game for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And someday when I'm like an old man who can't use his hands anymore, my daughter is gonna be playing Wind Waker for me.
There you
go. But is there another game? Is there another Legend of Zelda game where you can control another character that is not a Link type character? And I don't mean like I'm not counting fucking the Musou games. But in this game, you're able to control Makar and Medley. Like you could play as them for a while. You can't do everything that Link can, obviously. But I was thinking, is there another game where you control any other character? Because I think you're always Link in every other game.
I just want to look at the.
Because even Wolf Link in Twilight Princess, you're fucking
still Link. Yeah. Just trying to see. I was looking at the. Is there any games here, any side ones that I'm forgetting about? Oh, that's Link. It's lots of Links. I'm looking at ones maybe I didn't play. Like, I never played Spirit Tracks. Was you only playing Link on Spirit Tracks?
We've played just the first probably half an hour of Spirit Tracks, so I haven't seen anything else, but who knows?
It wouldn't surprise me if it's only Link.
Yeah.
Can Zelda restore Spirit Tracks? Can you play as Zelda? That doesn't look like it.
Yeah, okay. So this might be the only one.
I think it might be, because that's just what it is. Until Breath of the Wild sequel, they'll let us play Zelda. There, come on.
Oh, come on. I was so excited for that Breath of the Wild, and they didn't have anything like that, so I've lost faith in Nintendo, especially now.
Yeah. Well, at this point with 2, I'm like, I don't even know what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be. So
yeah, right.
They've shown so little.
Exactly. Link has like a robot arm or whatever.
There we go. Let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, nope.
Cool.
Well, that's cool.
All right. Yep. More Wind Waker. I'll be at it next week, I'm sure. As school starts and I have no time to do anything.
Good luck.
Oh my God. Soul crushing. All right. Well, this has been episode 350, the milestone episode of Prof and Dev Play Games. Halfway to 700.
Oh boy.
Wow. We'll be really old by then. 7 years from now. We will see you next week. We'll do a wrap up of Gamescom next week.
Yeah.
And then maybe a preview of whatever Sony event is coming up in September, because surely there'll be one.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Tell your friends about us. Rate us on your podcast service of choice. And we will see you next week.
All right. Later, everyone.